they probably don't know this, so where and when were you born?
I was born in Culbertson, Montana, on a homestead, 4 miles north of Culbertson.
And when was that?
February the 22nd, 1914.
1914. So how old are you then? How old are you now?
I'm 86 and 5 months, 6 months.
So what other places did you live in besides Culbertson, Montana?
I have lived in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Montana again, and then back in New Mexico.
How long have you been in New Mexico?
Since 1948,
Why did you come to New Mexico?
because of my husband's health. He had heart trouble and he couldn't take the cold winters no more.
When you were little, what was it like growing up? Did you have chores to do?
Oh, yes. There was 6 children in the family. We lived in Minnesota in a big log house we lived in the forest, really, and my dad was taking the timber off of the land, and he worked every day out away from home, and so we, us kids, all had our chores to do. We had pigs and chickens and calves and cows and horses and whatnot. We all had to do chores. Then in the summertime we had gardens and take care of animals then.
Did you get an allowance?
No.
No allowance at all?
No.
What about like house chores, like cleaning or cooking, doing
yeah.
dishes,
I
things
was
like
the
that?
I was the oldest girl. There was one brother older. My brother and I, we took care of most of the housework because my mother wasn't well, and so we had to keep when my brother younger than me, he had to always keep all the wood boxes full of wood because we burnt wood in our stoves, and we learned how to bake bread and sew and everything else when I was only 8 years old.
Were you
Because I had
cooking?
to take the place of my mother helping with her little babies and children.
Were you cooking for the whole family when you were 8?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. You didn't even get like an electric stove.
No, we worked wood stoves.
What did you fix to eat a lot of the time?
Well, we raised our own meat, which was pigs and beef and chickens and turkeys and geese and all those kind of things, and they had to be butchered to be eaten, and then we raised all our own vegetables.
Did you have like a Walmart or
No.
like a Furs or
I never
anything?
even got to go to a store. I didn't know what a store even was.
So you did all of everything that you needed, you had at home.
Right at home.
You didn't, how about clothing?
My mother and I, we sewed for all the family, and my dad helped me with, and even make shoes.
No Jordans. What, you made your own shoes? What did you use to make the shoes?
Well, he had leather, and we had to have little tiny nails, and we had what they call a shoe lath. There's a little thing about so high with different size shoes, and then we could make them from a 2-year-old up to a 12 or 16-year-old shoe.
And where would you get your material for clothes and
We would
shoes?
order it out of a catalog.
So you still didn't even get to go to a store to buy
No.
anything like that?
No.
What jobs have you had?
When after I graduated from the 8th grade, it was during the real hard years of the Depression starting, so I had to work out away from home, and I worked away from home for 4 years, in farms, in towns, and mostly on farms.
What kind of work?
Get up at 5 o'clock and get to work. That was it. Make breakfast and do the cooking for the day and scrub floors and all those things.
So kind of like house chores. But
Well-
you got paid?
Well, how much?
How much did you get paid?
50 cents a day.
Not very much for today.
And you had to buy your own clothes.
What could you get for 50 cents a day? What were the prices of things like
Well,
to buy a Coke or to buy
you could get a coat for probably $5.
a coat?
$4.98 maybe. We always had to order everything out of a catalog.
What about like something like a loaf of bread?
I don't know what bread, what you pay for a loaf of bread,
No,
because we made our own
never had to
bread.
buy it. What about like a gallon of gas? Because it's, what is it, $1.60 now?
Wasn't anybody had any cars in those early days, or just few people had cars. Everybody drove team horses.
Did you, how many years did you go to school?
8 years.
First grade through 8th grade?
That's all I went to 8th grade.
Did you get to ride a bus?
No, had to walk.
How far did you have to walk?
From some schools we walked from 2.5 miles to some places almost 4 miles. We had to get up real early to walk to have our chores done so we could get to school at 9 o'clock.
And what time did school start?
9 o'clock,
So if you started at 9, when would you have to leave?
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, but when did you leave home to go to school?
Oh, it's the farthest we ever had to walk, we had to leave home before 7.
So it took 2 hours?
Almost 4 miles to school. That was in North Dakota.
And what was it like in the winter walking to school?
Well, we walked up until the snow and got so cold. Then my dad took the front runners off of a sled. Now you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. You drove with a team of horses, and he put a little house on it. We would go out and get a big rock and put it in the oven all night, and then we would put that in there to keep our feet warm. And we would pick up, as we came along, we would pick up cousins and whatnot, friends, and we'd all ride to school. And this wasn't called a bus then; it was just called taking the kids to school.
Like a horse-drawn sleigh.
Yeah, a little horse-drawn sleigh.
No heaters,
No,
just a rock.
you had to wear warm clothes.
No CD player, no radio.
They make their own music.
What about schoolwork? Did you have a lot of homework?
Never.
Never any homework?
Every school I ever went to was from the 1st to the 8th grade in one room, in a one-room schoolhouse.
So all the kids in 1st grade through 8th grade were in the same class?
They'd have the 1st grade first, then the 2nd, 3rd, and then we just, as the time went along, we all went through till we got to the 8th grade.
So did the 8th graders help the 1st graders?
No, nobody helped. Everybody had to do their own work. We had no help.
Did they have any school teams, like basketball teams or baseball
No,
teams?
never, all the years I went to school, we never did.
How about for high school? How come you just went to 8th grade and not to high
Because
school?
we didn't have the money or any way that we could get enough money to send the kids away from high school. There was 8 of us in the family, and I only had 2 of the 8 children that went to high school.
You had to pay to go to high school?
No, it was that you couldn't stay home. You had to go away to some other town. We lived in the country, out in the country.
Kind of like a boarding school in a way.
Well, it was a board. Some people would have friends or relatives that they would let their kids go stay with that, and they wouldn't see their kids maybe all till maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas, because the kids was always away from home.
Did you have any friends at school?
Yeah, of course, naturally.
What did you guys do for like recess?
Just go out and just play. We didn't have, in Minnesota, there was a lot of trees, and we would have poles that we had to chin up. We call it chin up. And we played, in the wintertime, we played fox and geese in the snow and stuff like that.
And what did you do for lunch at school? Did they have a cafeteria?
We took a little syrup pail full of something to eat. Homemade bread, and probably that's all we ever had was just homemade bread that we just took some sandwiches and
So it was a cold lunch every day.
every day.
How old were you when you left home?
I was 14.
You were 14 when you left home, and where did you go?
I had to work. I worked in Bainville and Freud and McCabe, Montana, away from home. I never got to go home, only at Christmas.
Where did you stay when you were away from home?
I worked on farms or sometimes worked in town for people and it was never any, except that we had Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes in one place I worked, I had Saturday and Sunday off, but I had to still cook for the crew, the people that worked on the farms and stuff. That I still had to work, but I didn't have to work very hard. Well, that was the day, it was cleaning day.
When you left home, did you have any boyfriends?
Not right away. No, I never had boyfriends when I was 16. I went to the first show when I was 16 years old, and it only cost 10 cents to go to a show.
10 cents.
Yes?
To go to a movie?
To go almost every block.
Can't even go to Furs and rent a video for 10 cents.
It used to be 49 cents, now it's $1
Yeah. How about when you got married? How old were you when you got married?
I was 18.
18 when you got married?
Yes.
And where did you get married?
At Andes, Montana. We lived on a farm where I worked on a farm, and that's where I met my husband. And his folks had a ranch. So where I was working, I had to stay there till school was out before I could go with him to the ranch. So I worked from May all up till May. Then I went out to the ranch and lived on the ranch after that.
How long did you know each other before you got married?
Oh, it's probably 6 months.
And what did you do after you got married? Did you stay there or did you move?
Well, we lived on the ranch for almost 2.5 years, but the depression was so bad, and we had no money. There was no way of making any money. So we had, the government took the ranch away from us, and then we had to move. And we moved from the eastern side of New Montana all the way to the western part and got jobs out on what they call WPA. Have you ever read stories about WPA?
Probably not.
My husband got $33 a month, and that's what we lived on.
$33 a month for salary.
And I worked for 50 cents a day for 4 years.
And was $33 a month good money?
Yes, this was the money. That's all we got. He got $33, and I worked for 50 cents a day.
And did you have to pay rent or something?
Yes. The place where we was living in Whitefish, Montana, I worked for his aunt, which had a 4-story rooming house in town, and I got 50 cents a day, and I had to be there by 7, and I couldn't leave till 7:30 at night. But then when I got home, I had to go to work at another job for a lady that owned a hospital, and I would go down at her house and work in her basement and make uniforms for nurses and full baby diapers and get ready for her to go. And then she said if I would work for her, I wouldn't have to pay any rent because we rented a little house from her, and the rent was only $7 a month.
And what did you use your $33 a month for? Did you buy
We'll buy food.
buy food?
Food, and we did have a truck, and on Saturday and Sunday I didn't have to work on any of those jobs, so my husband and I would, and we had, my first boy was only a couple years old. We had to go work in the woods and saw wood that people burnt in their furnaces and stoves, and we would go out in the woods and saw down trees and saw them all up and load our truck, and then we'd bring them back home at night, and then the next day he would take the truck and sit all day in town selling the wood. And then that was my days that I had to wash clothes, and Saturday and Sunday I had to wash clothes and do things like that.
What was your car payment? How much did that truck cost?
I have no idea, because I had the truck when we still was on the farm, so I never did know.
When did you get your first car? How old were you?
You mean when I was home or when I worked away from
The
home?
first car that you drove, how old were
Oh,
you?
I was 29 years old before I drove my first car.
A little different than getting your permit at 16. How about like your first TV?
First what?
TV. How old were you when you got your first
I
TV?
don't know. We got it when we lived here in New Mexico about in 1950 something. In the 50s.
So you didn't have TV growing
We
up?
didn't even have a radio.
No radio either.
We didn't have a radio until 1934.
How much, do you remember how much your TV cost?
No,
Oh.
I don't remember that.
Did anything, the people that lived around you, did they go to fight in World War II?
Yes.
A lot of the men left? A lot of the men left?
I didn't have any in my family that did, but I had a lot of cousins and uncles that did though.
You had prisoners that stayed
Yes.
to work though.
That was World War II. We had German prisoners of war that were brought here to work, and they put them in what they used to call CCC camps. Do you ever read about a CCC camp?
Probably not.
Well, this was the camps that they got back in the Depression years for boys that, was just boys or men, that came from different cities or places that couldn't get any work, and there was no work for them really to do, so they would take them into what they called CCC camps, and there would probably be 20 to 30, maybe 40 of them, and they would put them out working on roads, or if they were in the forest, they had to make dams and things like that, and these were boys that were raised mostly in cities that didn't know how to do anything, and it was training.
There was a government program that
It was a government program.
paid young men to go and build things for the government.
Yeah, and we had one in what they called Malta, Montana, where we lived, and when they left, then that's where they took the prisoners of war and put them in the CC camps, and we had three different groups. We raised, one year we raised sugar beets. That's what they make sugar out of. And we had one where the first group was men that were, I would say they're none of them no younger than 47 years old. These German prisoners of war were older men. And they had been fighting in Africa. So they were brought there, and they didn't even know how to do farm work. Most of them were like musicians, and they said they didn't know what farm work even was. And so they had to do what we planted sugar beets. And when you planted them, you planted your sugar beets, and you only left, like there was one beet, you had to chop out two and then leave another beet. And that was what they called, planting the beet, getting the sugar beets so they could, wouldn't be too crowded to grow. The next group we had were still another older group. When they left, then we got another. And when we got the last group was what they called topping the beets. That was done before they had all this machinery to do it with. It was all done hand labor. They had to chop the tops off of every beet. They have the tops. Just you see carrots or things in the store, and they have the tops. Well, they had to chop all those off. And so that crew was all 25 years old at what they called the genuine Nazis. The young group. They were all 25 years old. I have pictures of them.
What made them different?
What?
What made them different? If they were Nazis, what were they like?
Real sturdy young men, real sturdy young men. And we had 25 in our group that came to work. And they had to work the whole valley, like we have a valley here, like you say, Albuquerque to Socorro. That's where we lived, was a valley. And they had to go from farm to farm to farm to, just when they got through with one farm, they had to go to another farm. But they were always put on a bus and taken to, it wasn't a bus, it was just big old trucks would take them and put them back in the CCC camp. And we had to cook dinner for them. And those German prisoners of war were guarded on each end of every field and guarded if they were in your yard. There was with a man stood with one end and one man stood with a gun, and they were guarded.
Did the guards ever have to do anything?
Yes, after they got through at our place, they went to a Shirley Hazelstream's farm to do the sugar beets. And they lived down next to the river, like you'd be here where there's forest, you know, or trees along the river. Well, they were so close to the river that they were so afraid that they were going to escape. Well, some of them would try to escape. So one guard would stand here and one star here where he stood by where the river, the other one would go here, and they'd have to go down the roads and come back and go back. One of them tried to escape and he was shot.
The guard shot a prisoner?
Shot prisoner.
What happened to the prisoner?
We just loaded him up and took him away. We never did know, but we had a trial. We had to go to our county, to Glasgow, Montana. My husband had to go, and all of the people that worked there had to go to prove that he did run away. And he was shot, and that was then wasn't too long after that they were all through, and they moved him out, and we never did hear from him again. But when we cooked them for dinner, we were never not allowed to go in your house or your barn or rain or any place. They were allowed to just come in and stand, and we took up pickups and our truck, and we put planks across, and us women would have to cook the food to put out on those planks. And that's the way we fed them. We dipped up in everybody's plates, put some food. They brought a lunch, but the farmers wouldn't let them eat what they brought. One bologna sandwich is all they were allowed to eat for dinner. And we figured they couldn't work on that, so we fed them.
So they didn't get much food at the prison?
No. Because my brother-in-law was one of the ones that drove the truck, and he would have to, like a roll call, they'd have to call each one's name, and a lot of the prisoners had my same name as my folks, because my folks were German people. We didn't know them or anything, but they had the same names, a lot of them, that we had.
Did they speak German only, or?
Yeah. Just German only.
And
Especially those young ones, the older ones. My dad could speak German, so he talked to a lot of the older ones, but he wasn't allowed to talk to the young ones. They were what they called genuine Nazis. They called them hardcore Nazis.
were they a lot rougher than the older men?
They didn't trust them, I guess. But the older men that we had, the first group that was those 47-year-olds and so forth, a lot of them would just stand in the field and cry because they didn't have, one of them was a violin, all they ever done was ever play a violin, and he didn't know anything about how people lived on farms.
When you left Montana and you came to New Mexico, what did you come to New Mexico in? Did you fly, or?
No, we had pickup with a trailer on the back, and we brought everything. We had an auction sale in Montana to sell all our belongings, and then we just put our clothes and a few things like that, and we just came to New Mexico.
And where did you live when you came here?
Bosque, New Mexico.
Did you buy a house, or?
No, we rented.
And how much was your rent?
$50 a month.
That's not bad. And what did you do when you came to New Mexico? Did you get a job, or?
My husband we had from our auction sale, we had the money, and we rented our farm in Montana. So we had the money to buy. He bought a baler, a hay baler, and a tractor, and he done hay baling in the valley here. And all I did was cook for the crew.
Where have you lived in New Mexico? Have you moved around while you've been here?
No, we just moved up to Belen, and I started the dairy and ran a dairy for 19 years.
When you came here, how big was Belen?
And very little. There wasn't even it was only a few cars. Everybody drove team and horses or buggies and such as that.
So when you came here, it was all like horses? It wasn't cars? Wasn't a lot of cars?
It was kind of strange. After living in Montana on a big farm, we just couldn't understand these little tiny farms.
When you came to Berlin, were the streets paved with asphalt?
No,
Were they dirt roads all over?
yeah,
Even in Berlin?
yes.
Wow. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if there's a picture of the bank and it shows Berlin.
Yeah, the bank has a bunch of pictures and the city offices do too. When you came to Berlin, who came with you?
Well,
What,
just,
Did you-
just my boys. I had Raymond and Jean and Larry.
and how old were they?
Raymond was 16 and his dad was 8 or 9, and then Larry was the baby. He had his second birthday here.
So he was just one when you left?
Uh-huh.
And how about other children? Have you had other children?
Just one more, Danny. He was born here in the hospital in Glen,
In the old hospital?
in the old hospital.
Where is the old hospital?
It's where the school building is now.
Across from McDonald's was a
Yeah.
hospital?
The school building. It's called now.
When you came to Berlin, did you have to like buy a lot of new things that you had sold in Montana? Like beds and...
Oh, yes, yes.
Furniture.
We bought all our furniture from a second-hand store, and we lived like that. We didn't think nothing of it, just,
And the land that you rented in Montana, were you getting money from that?
yeah, once a year, when the
Did-
crop was taken on.
You owned the land and they
Then we
rented
sold
to
our
you?
farm, we sold our farm in 1949.
When you came here, did your kids go to school in Berlin?
Yes.
What school?
Raymond went to the old red school, the old red brick school.
And where was that?
It's where the first, or not first, but the IGA is now, or that's the,
And what other schools did they go to?
the younger boys, from first to the sixth grade, went to Rapito school.
Pablito School, that's like on 85, like a mile south of Berlin.
Yes,
That's not even a school today.
No.
It's a house today.
it's a house.
Yeah, it's a big house, but it's a house. What have you enjoyed about being in New Mexico?
The climate, for one thing.
Is that why you came to New Mexico?
Yeah, that's why we came here.
Why do you say you enjoy the climate? What's it different?
Well, because it's especially Berlin. Now, we've always lived in Berlin, you know, but we always like the winters mainly because we were so used to having, the coldest I ever saw in Montana was 62 below.
62 below?
And we would haul hay and everything out, and we'd do our chores when it was even 40 below. We just did nothing of it.
What, Nadia?
Did they have laundry?
Did you have warm blankets?
Oh, sure.
Was Luna Mansion there when you lived down there?
Huh?
Was Luna Mansion here?
Yeah, it wasn't called Luna Mansion, it was just, some friends of ours, they rented the place and lived in it.
It was a house. That's what they built it. Originally was a
Oh,
house.
I thought that was
It was just a home then.
It's a restaurant. Did they have
Yeah, it's a restaurant
driver's
now.
license?
What?
Driver's license?
Did you have a driver's license?
Yeah,
When did you get your first driver's license?
when I was 29 years old.
Did it have your picture?
No,
No picture?
no pictures.
Okay.
When you were in Montana,
Huh?
when you were in Montana, did you weave your own cloth with wool?
Did you make your own material? Did you weave like the wool?
No,
Where did you get your own material to make clothes?
To make clothes, we ordered everything out of a catalog.
You guys been killing your gear and everything like that?
Huh?
You guys killing gear?
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions?
I learned to sew clothes when I was 8 years old.
For eight people in your family, you were cooking and sewing?
We used to bake homemade bread. We baked 8 loaves of bread a day. 8 loaves of bread a day. That's all. We had we ate lots of bread.
You guys make any butter?
Yeah.
How about,
How'd you make the butter anyway?
That's true.
Sure.
how about like with meat? You had to kill your own meat
Yeah, we killed our own meat.
and you had to dress your own meat?
Huh?
You had to dress your own meat?
Yeah.
What they have to drink?
It's a good question.
What'd you guys have to drink? Like water or...
Well, yeah, water, coffee.
You guys have any Coke or anything?
No, there was no Coke.
No beer, no
No
wine.
Cokes.
No wine.
Okay.
Some people made their own wine, but we never did.
Go ahead, Chan.
Did you have any candy?
Huh?
Did you have any candy?
Candy? Did she say candy?
Yeah.
The first candy I ever got, I was about 12 years old, and my mother and I went to a store in Montana, and when she got her groceries done, the grocery man gave us a 5 cents worth of candy for all of us kids, little hard candy. He put a little tiny brown bag and he put some candy in it, and that's the only candy we ever had.
Oh.
We never knew what even oranges
Freddie.
or bananas.
Real loud.
Did you ever like when you like grew up did you ever have candy like now like
Do you have candy now?
No, no. We never even had candy at home. I have walked in water this deep and picked cranberries in a lake in Minnesota.
Did you guys fish?
Yeah. We lived, our home in Minnesota was right on the edge of the lake, and we fished all the time.
Did you fish for fun or did you fish for food?
We fished for food.
Did you catch anything?
Yeah.
Did you have
If
Did you have a
ever lived in Montana,
rod?
There's lots of lakes.
Did you have a rod with a reel on it?
No, we had a pole we just threw a...
A stick.
Yeah, you took a tree branch, you put a stick and turned your line out like this. You caught more fish with them than you ever did with these things you're wine with.
Go ahead, Melinda. Real
Did
loud.
you catch a big one before?
What'd she say?
Did you catch big fish?
Oh, yeah. We had pike and...
Did you catch
Sorry,
a catfish?
Catfish?
No, we never had catfish. They don't grow catfish in Minnesota lakes. That's just in the south. Huh?
Did you guys have salmon there? Trout?
No, not in the lakes. No. I don't really remember what kind of fish we caught. I never whitefish and never big fish like that.
What about sports? Did you have, you said that there weren't school teams, but did the people have like basketball teams or baseball
No.
teams for your town
No.
or something?
The only time I we were growing up mainly in Minnesota, the only sports we ever had would be like if they had a big picnic somewhere in a town or out in the country somewhere, and all the neighbors would come and they'd play baseball or so. Or maybe run and play games like running and sack races and things like that. That's the kind of sports we had. Because we lived in the country, we didn't live in towns.
Did you guys have a football then? Any
No.
football? What would
No.
they use for like baseball?
Well, there
Lacrosse or
was,
something?
no, there was baseball.
The year I was 16, I was working on a farm in Floyd, Montana, that they farmed 2,000 acres of wheat. And I worked on a place that they had 8 different crews went out. Every 8 hours a crew came in and a crew went out, and we had to feed them. And on Saturday and Sunday, I didn't have to work, and they had a sports thing there for the crew, which was like baseball and, I don't know what they call that when they shoot the gun and like here now they have practice like this.
Relay races?
Racing?
No.
Track?
Huh?
Was it track where you run?
No, No, it was just a little farm there that they made, fixed a little place for, and the year I was 16, I played on a baseball team all summer, and I went in North Dakota to play in Montana both.
So you were on a traveling baseball team?
Yeah.
All girls?
Oh no, boys and girls.
And how did you travel? Did they have a bus?
Oh, big old car. I don't remember the name of the car, but it was a big old car that they put in.
How fast did the car go?
I don't remember that.
Did they have, did more people have horses or more people have cars?
Not very many. Well, the farmers all in the years in 30s, they had cars.
Do you know how much gas was?
No. About 26 cents a gallon.
26 cents.
Gotta be way cheaper than now.
Yeah, it was about there then.
Elaine? Freddie?
Was there like bullies back then that pick on people or no?
Did you have bullies that picked on people?
Huh?
Did you have bullies that picked on people at school?
Oh, sure. My brothers did.
If you got in trouble at school, did you get detention or
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened?
Yes.
Did you get whacked, Banks?
No, you stood in the corner with a dunce cap with your back to the wall.
I remember that.
My brother had to do it several times because he was caught stripping a girl's grade.
Oh, my dad stopped a girl in the face once and got hit.
I thought they let you use a paddle or something.
Yeah,
They did. They did. They had a big old thick thing, and if you wasn't good, you put your hand on the table and you was hit with it.
No, you probably get arrested, huh?
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that now.
You didn't talk out loud in school. You did never talk out loud ever in school unless the teacher asked you a question.
And what about your grades? What kind of grades did you get in school?
Well, if you got a C, it is about 79. If you got from there on up, you got up to an A, like F, on up to F was failure, and then you got an A, that was the best, and then of course it was just.
What
like
kind of
that.
grades did you get?
I got both them B's. Because I had to work so hard and we walked so far to school, we was tired when we got there. And I was always hard for me to be in school because I was so tired all the time.
Chelsea?
Did you ever get hit with the little paddle thing? No?
No, you didn't, you better behave if you didn't want to get it.
Rashad?
What kind of books do you guys have? I like that Evan has a math book, science book.
No, we didn't, we called what they called arithmetic book. We didn't have what they called math, we called arithmetic. Reading, writing, and arithmetic, that was what we had.
Did you have workbooks that you wrote in?
No.
You had to write on
Oh,
paper?
the only thing was penmanship. Penmanship. You
Handwriting.
don't even know what penmanship is?
Yeah.
Handwriting. Mark?
If you guys got sick at home, would you still have to go to school?
No.
What would you do at home? Would you have to do chores or would you stay in bed?
Yeah, when he was home, if he was sick, he was sick. He was either in bed or he was coughing or doing whatever till you got well. And it usually wasn't over 2 or 3 days till you get back to school. But you had to walk to school. How would you like to walk 2 or 3 miles to school?
Lamar said we were just talking about how there's no houses around us. They don't even let kids walk at all. Ben?
You guys ever had to take days off at school and holidays?
Did you have holidays from school?
Well, yes, we didn't ever have to go to school on a holiday. Never.
What about your school year? When did it start?
We started in September, the first week in September, and it was always out till about the third week in May.
Yeah, but they probably had less days off. We got, like yesterday you had off.
No, we never had days off, never.
Like Columbus Day?
No.
How about
On
like,
holidays, we got off.
but Christmas and Thanksgiving you had
Yeah,
off?
then we had 2 weeks vacation.
Did you have a spring, did you have a spring break?
No,
No spring
we
break?
never no spring break.
Oh, then we're lucky then.
The only breaks we had in school was recess.
And their summer was only.
Did you have parent-teacher conferences?
No,
How long were your recesses?
30 minutes.
Yeah, that's
That's all.
Yeah,
That's not
Yeah,
fair.
it was 10,
at school is
we got a 10:30 we got off, and sometimes it wasn't even that long, but then we'd go outside to play. And then noon you had an hour, and then when it come 2:30, you got another recess. Then you was out of school at 4 o'clock.
We had to walk
Hey,
home.
we have to go talk to the principal.
It's not fair.
It's sad, real loud.
When you guys had holidays, like, let's just use Halloween. Did you celebrate Halloween?
Yes.
You guys dress up.
Did you
The
go trick or
Halloween
treating?
in Minnesota we did. I don't remember the other schools so much, but in Minnesota we always had what they'd get a bonfire. See, we lived in the forest, down where there was forest. And they'd have a big bonfire, and all the dads and mothers would bring their children to it was like a party, see? And then they'd tell ghost stories and have big treats. We'd duck for apples and things like
So
that.
what was your idea of Halloween?
Did you dress up?
No, we didn't dress up. That was not anything like they do now.
Did you go
Oh, did you celebrate Halloween? Or did your family not do Halloween?
No. And when we walked it would be in the evening after we got our chores done. It was usually about 7:30. It would already be dark in Minnesota by that time. So, but we would walk we would just walk to the school.
Elaine?
Instead of spring break, did you get Easter off, like a week for Easter?
Did you get off for Easter? But just that weekend or
Just the Easter day.
just for, Sunday you're off
We just
anyway?
had just the holiday day. That's the only time we did.
No extra in-service days? or-
No.
Oh, man.
First to the 8th
Andrew?
grade, all in one room school.
Did you have the weekend off?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, yeah. We had a lot of things that we do on Saturday, and then Sunday in the morning, we'd get up and get our chores done, and we'd go to church, then we'd just come home. Maybe some of the families would come over, or we went to somebody's family's house, and that's all.
James?
How long did you get for summer break?
How long was your summer vacation?
From May till September.
Did they have to let kids go till September to work? Work over the summer?
Well, you lived out on farms. See, we never did live in a town. We always lived on farms, and you had a lot of farm work to do. So the kids was always busy at home all summer.
Monique?
Did your brothers ever get hit with a paddle?
Did your brothers get hit? Did your brothers get hit with a paddle in school?
No, not the paddle. But only had one brother that he would, the girl that was sitting in front of him, he was caught pulling her braid while he was set in the corner several times.
What was your teachers like?
Well, I just loved all our teachers till I went in the 8th grade. We had a very, very strict teacher. Boy, you didn't pull nothing in her room. Boy, you would really watch her. I never will forget her as long as I live, but she was strict.
Ben?
Did you ever have parent-teacher conferences?
Did you ever have parent-teacher conferences?
No.
How did you get report cards to take home?
Yes.
Like,
It was just a little cardboard about that size. That's all it was, a little cardboard, and it had all the grades and then the teacher's name, and my dad would have, on the back, there was lines like this, and the parents had to sign to be sure that they knew that he got the
You have to bring it back. What happens if you didn't bring it back?
They just kept at this school. And we didn't even have superintendents, all we had was just a teacher.
Freddie,
What was your worst grade?
what was your worst grade?
Arithmetic for me.
Would you get it?
What grade did you get?
About 80, 85.
That's good, that's what
Rashad's all, that's bad? What?
Really?
I'll take an 85.
If you had to get up at 5:36 and milk about 12 cows, or 8 to 12 cows, and then feed about 40 pigs, and then the chickens, and help my mother make breakfast, and then walk 4 miles to school, what did you do when you got to school? You was kind of tired, wasn't you? It was kind of hard.
James,
Did you have a principal at school?
Nope. Never.
Nadia?
Did you like have like lead pencils like the
Did you have wood pencils?
Yes.
or
The
like
little wooden, what they call cedar pencils, they were the little tiny little brown pencil, you know, you can buy them yet, but you very seldom see them anymore. And we all had to use those, what's they call them?
Did you get to, did they have erasers on the pencils? Did you get to write in pen?
No. Not till I got up in the 8th grade, then you had a pen you dipped in ink and wrote on it.
Did you have a bathroom in your classroom?
No.
Where did you have to go to the bathroom?
Outdoor toilet.
An outhouse.
Outhouse. Now we call them outdoor toilets.
That's worse than going to the bathroom behind the cafeteria.
Nope, we never had no bathroom. I mean, never.
And what did you do for water during the day?
You pumped it by hand.
You didn't have a faucet in the room?
No, you had a little bucket of water with one little dipper, and everybody drank out of the same dipper.
That's pretty wrong.
When you were in school, did you have any field trips or anything?
Any what?
Field trips?
No, never.
Never went on a field trip?
Never.
Did you have classroom parties?
No,
For birthdays or holidays, no parties?
no.
And at Christmas, you were saying that you got 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Hey, that's
What would you do for Christmas at home? Would
Well,
you,
when we lived in Minnesota and Wisconsin, we would go cut our Christmas tree. We'd go out in the forest and cut our Christmas tree and bring it in. And we lived in 2-story log houses, so we had big, huge Christmas tree. And we decorated them with the old candles, and we made popcorn, and we did all our own trimmings. for
you
it.
didn't put lights on it? You had to
No,
put candles?
An old-fashioned candle that you snapped on the tree limb, and you had to be very careful so it wouldn't catch on fire.
Rashad,
how big were your horses?
Just like they are now. There's all sizes.
like plow horses?
Yeah, yeah.
And then bareback horses, riding horses?
I never rode saddle horses until I lived in Montana.
Did you write English or
Western. I'd even broke horses to ride.
Yeehaw.
Only got bucked off once.
Nadia.
did you like have backpacks like to carry your books?
No, I should say not. We did not.
Oh my god.
We never brought home homework.
30-minute recess, an hour for lunch, and no homework. Wow.
That's good. We have to.
They get like 2 hours recess.
The only thing I wouldn't like about that school is you have
And in Eddie's case, no conferences.
I don't have my name in the
Yeah, the black book's not as bad as getting slapped though.
I know. Slapped.
Ben,
Did you ever have your own horse?
No,
You never had your own?
no. My dad had a team and that was it.
Did you guys ever like, do you guys ever do roping or
No.
anything that was?
No, not when I grew up. I did on the ranch. When we lived, I was already married.
You guys got a whole bunch of cattle?
Yeah.
Was it expensive?
On the ranch, I learned to ride horses.
Did you guys sell a lot of cattle?
Yeah. So,
Freddie?
When you got hit with the rulers, did you have to have like, did they have like ice for you to put on your hands when you was on?
what I...
When the kids got slapped with the ruler, did they have ice to help them?
No! You didn't cry either.
What happened if you cried?
You just toughed it out. There's not very many kids were bad enough that I had to do that.
Mark?
Did you guys have to hunt for your food?
My brothers did, yes.
How many of you guys?
Rabbits. They hunted rabbits. We ate rabbits.
What did you hunt with?
What did they hunt with?
36.
What do you call it?
I was about to do that.
Traps.
What would you do after that? You trap them and then what would they do?
Take them home and cut them open.
Yeah, dude, like,
You said I remember that you had said before that your dad shot a bear.
Yeah.
And what did you use the bear for?
We butchered him and...
How did he shoot him? With a muzzle over?
Yeah, no, my dad had a big gun.
Muzzle over.
No, just...
A rifle?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was a rifle or shotgun or what it was. I don't even remember. I remember it was a big long gun.
What did you do with the bear meat though?
Well, we cut him up, made food just like you would a beef or something like that. Then we rendered the lard. We had a lot of lard.
What did you do? How did you get lard from the bear? I'm not sure everybody even knows what lard is.
I do.
That's your grease. Your grease. Lard.
What is lard?
Lard is when you render the fat. You have to render.
You boil the meat?
No, you fry it. You put it. Well, we have this very big old kettle like this, big round, deep iron kettle. You build a fire underneath of it. You put that in there, and then you just rendered. Then you took out the.
You scoop out all the grease,
You
the
just
fat?
took out the grease then.
And what do you do with the lard? 'Cause what do you do with all that? What do you use it for?
Cooking. Cooking.
Yeah,
Baking.
they do that still, don't they?
I know.
Well, yeah, but that's like bad for your health now.
I know, it's all.
Now you got like vegetable oil and sunflower seed oil, and peanut
We
oil.
never even had such thing. We didn't know there was such a thing.
So you use the fat from the bear to bake with.
Yeah, and make pies and cakes and things with it. But
Tastes just like
we use
bear.
pork. We use pork. The pork, the pigs was where we got our lard from.
So you would have like kind of matanzas. Sort of.
No, never. I didn't know what that was when I came to
Did you guys make pig fat? Like little
Fried?
pig fat?
The fried ones?
Yeah,
Chicharrones?
yeah.
Did you eat the fried fat?
My mother made apple butter.
Monique,
I have a pig.
you have a pig?
Yeah, my grandpa got a pig.
Are you gonna eat your pig someday?
They're gonna have me for a puppy.
They'll let you go shoot it?
No, I'm scared of it. I was scared of it.
Before we finish, does anybody have a question that I missed off of the sheet or something extra? Because we're about ready to end. Mark?
What advice could you give us?
Ah, that's a good one. Go ahead and ask.
Well, how should I say it?
Just read it off the bottom.
What is the best piece of advice you can give?
Just get up in the morning and remember you gotta do something for the day and do it. And do it.
James, real loud.
Did you ever go to college?
No, I never got only to the 8th grade.
Did other kids in your family go to high school?
All the younger ones, the two younger ones did, but the older ones never did because we never had no money to spend for anything like that.
Rashad?
What did you enjoy about being a parent?
Making my kids mine.
Was Mr. Goodson a bad child?
Hmm?
Was he a bad child, Mr. Goodson?
Mr. Goodson?
Yeah.
You talking about?
Yeah. Was he
Sure.
a bad kid?
And I used to babysit him?
What's it? Was he good? I know. Did you ever spank him?
No.
Just that old ruler trick. No ice, Freddie, no ice. Anybody have any other questions?
At home?
Freddie?
When you're like, when you got your driver's license, did you like drive your car like almost all the time?
No.
That's a pretty
The car I learned to drive was a 28 Chevrolet.
28
Name?
What country were your ancestors from?
What country were your ancestors from? Your family?
Minnesota. My dad, my folks were German people. My dad came from Germany, and my mother's people came from Germany, but they lived in Minnesota. She was born in Minnesota.
So both sides of your family are German?
So yeah, they all came from Germany.
You said that your dad spoke German. Did your mom speak German?
Yeah, they spoke German in the home, but they never, a kid never learned it.
They never taught any
They
of you?
didn't want us to be, they wanted us to be talking English.
Was it?
My dad and mother only got to the 3rd grade in school.
How old was your dad when he left Germany?
He was 9 years old.
And his mom died on the
And she
ship?
died on the ocean.
Scary.
How?
How did she die?
She got real sick. They got, a lot of the people that came in those days, they were so crowded on the ship, she got diarrhea. And she died on the ocean.
Not a fun way to die.
She was wrapped in a tarp, and she was wrapped in a tarp, and she was right in the ocean.
For real? That's cool. I know.
They didn't have no other way. They were weeks coming home on it, coming back on the ship.
That's just sad.
Nadia?
Did on like the weekends on Saturday and Sunday, did you guys like have board games to play or anything?
Did you play games at home at all?
No, we didn't have, when we played cards.
No PlayStation 2, huh?
No Nintendo 64, no Zelda.
Cheyenne?
What was your favorite game of cards to play?
What's your favorite card game?
Well, now I only play one, and that's Skippo.
Skippo?
Skippo. Where's Skippo? What's a Skippo?
No poker?
I never played it. I never played
I never played any card game only I was young.
Have you ever gambled? Where do you live now?
Yes, when I lived in Reno, I gambled.
Where do you live now?
No.
What'd you say?
I wasn't very much.
Where do you live now? What'd you
Where do
say?
I live now? I live in South Atlanta.
Well, Mr. Goodson lives. You live with her, don't you?
Oh, I used to. I live in Los Lunas now.
I know you live.
My brother,
She said you drive the car.
It's
Pretty scary. What are you talking about?
Let's go ahead and stop.
That was new. That was cut. Take one. Take two.
For the kids again, could you tell us your name?
Dora Goodson,
And on their sheet, their first question was, when were you born?
February the 22nd, 1914.
1914, so how old are you now?
86 plus 5 months.
86. Where were you born?
Culbertson, Montana.
Besides Montana, what other places have you lived in?
Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, and then back in Montana again, and then in New Mexico.
So you've been to a lot of different states. Where you,
Yes.
How long have you lived in New Mexico?
Since 1948, January the 16th, 1948.
And why did you come to New Mexico after living in all those other
My
places?
husband had heart trouble and he couldn't take the cold winters in Montana anymore.
So it was for like health reasons?
Health reasons.
What country did your ancestors come from, your family?
Germany.
Your mom and your dad? And your dad, he was born in Germany.
My mother was not. She was, her folks were, but they came to Minnesota, so she was born in Minnesota.
But your dad was German?
Yeah.
How old was he when he came to the United
9 years
States?
old.
He was 9.
9.
And how did he come to the United States?
They came on a boat across the ocean.
And who did he come with?
His dad and mother and the 4 brothers.
And what happened on the trip?
My grandmother died on the ship and she was buried in the ocean.
She got sick on the ship and died.
They were real crowded and she got diarrhea and she died, so they had to bury her in the ocean.
Well, last week we were reading off of those blue sheets that I had typed up, and we were reading about what it was like growing up. Can you tell us again, when you were little, what kinds of chores did you have to do at home?
Well, we lived in Minnesota as I was a little child. I was born in Montana, but when I was 10 months old, they moved to Minnesota. And we lived on it wasn't a farm, it was, my dad and mother bought a place where it was all timber, and he took all the logs off of it, and we just raised our own. We had a big 2-story log house that we lived in, and we lived in, just on the edge of a big lake there, and we kept animals for food and raised our own vegetables and stuff like that there.
Did you have to do a lot of chores?
Oh, yes.
Did you get an allowance?
No.
No allowance. What kind of chores did you do?
There was no such thing.
What chores did you do?
Oh, we had to feed animals, like we had pigs and chickens and turkeys and ducks and geese and horses and just a chat on a farm, you know.
What about house chores inside?
And we had a lot of that. I was the oldest girl out of 8 children. We had one brother, 1 year
6.
older and 1 year younger. And there was 6 of us to start with, and we lived in Minnesota, but there was 2 more born after that. But like I say, I was only 8 years old when I had to learn how to cook and iron and sew and everything else, because my mother was sick a lot.
So you were cooking for your whole family?
Yeah, at 8
When you
years
were
old.
8?
8 years old.
What foods would you cook when you were
Well,
only 8?
we raised our own vegetables, and we had our own animals to eat with meat. And we milked cows and had our own milk. And
So did you have to butcher your animals?
yeah.
In your writing, it's talked about your dad and how he shot a bear.
Yeah,
And you're
this was
using the
late in the fall when we got a small snowstorm, and we had a big barn, and we had a cow that was having a baby calf, and the bear could smell the baby calf. And he came to the door, and the door was closed, but he scratched on the door, and we could hear him from the house. And my dad took a gun and went down and shot him, and we ate him.
What did you use the meat for?
We ate the meat just like you do from any pig or like that.
Bear
And then
burgers.
we saved all the fat for lard. Do you know what lard is?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
stuff
I
they used
bet
to
not
cook.
everybody knows.
We rendered it outdoors in we had a great big iron thing, like a big pot, and we put a fire under it, and we rendered lard out in outdoors, stir it with a stick.
What was school like for you? Did you go?
We had to walk, in Minnesota, we had to walk all through the woods to go to school. My dad, there was a road, but it was too far to walk the road, so my dad cut a path through the trees, and we walked to school for 2 miles.
So you would walk to school in the wintertime?
Yes, snow up here.
When did school start?
September, it always started the day after, what's the first holiday?
Labor Day?
Labor Day. The first day after holiday, we all started that day, and then it ended in May.
And what was your day? What time did you start? What time did you end? What time did you start school?
Oh, 9 o'clock school started, and we got off at 4.
Did you have recess?
Yeah, we had a recess at 10:30 and another one at 2:30, and then the noon recess.
And how long was your lunch?
1 hour.
An hour for lunch, and how long was each recess?
Huh?
How long was each recess?
Oh, about 30 minutes.
Did you have a big school or a little school?
Well, it was all first to 8th grade, all in one room.
You had first graders, second graders, all the way up to eighth grade
All the way
in
to
one
8th grade in
room.
one room.
And was there 8 teachers or just one?
Just one.
One teacher for each of the grades. One teacher did all.
See, we lived in the country. We didn't live in town. We lived out in the country where there was just country kids came to school. See, there was maybe 5 or 6 in one grade, maybe only 2 in another, and see up to the 8th grade. That's the way it was.
Did you have a lot of friends at school?
Oh yes.
What did you do?
I liked my school in Minnesota, the best of all.
What was your favorite part about school?
Oh, just behave in school, and we never had take any homework home. We had to do our work all at school.
And if a kid got in trouble at school, did they get in detention or did they get sent to the office?
Well, the only trouble that I ever had in all the schools that I ever went to, I had one brother that he got in trouble a couple, 2 or 3 times for pulling a girl's braids. She was sitting at the desk ahead of him, and they didn't sit like this. This
7 rows?
they were all in rows, and but the girl sat in front of me, pulled her hair with, and then he had to wear a dunce cap and stand in the corner with his back to us for
What's
10
that?
minutes.
What's a dunce cap?
Oh, it's a dunce cap?
Yeah.
It's a little cap that they make out of paper, and it goes way up here comes to a point, they roll it and comes to a point, and he has to wear that and stand up and have his back to the rest of us in the class for 10 minutes.
What was the worst punishment that they gave at
They
school?
didn't really get very many of them ever get punished in school. Just if they were really, you wasn't never allowed to talk out loud in school unless the teacher was asked you a question. And if you did get caught whispering or passing a note or something to a kid, you got your hand slapped like this with a board.
Ruler?
Like a ruler or a big
Yeah,
board?
it was a thick board. It was just like a ruler, but it was thicker. And you put your hand out here and she cracked.
That's a little worse than signing a
That was
black
the way
book.
they corrected it.
After you get your hand slapped, I couldn't sign the black book. How old were you when you finished school?
I was 14,
So what grade did you go up to?
8th grade.
You didn't get to go to high school?
No.
Did they have a high school to go to where you were?
Yeah, but it was in a town, and we had to go about 12 miles away from where we lived, and there was no way to get there.
So you graduated just 8th grade and that was it. What did you do after you left home?
From the time I was 14 till I was 18, I worked away from home. I never only got home maybe on Christmas or something. I worked in farms and sometimes in town for people, and I worked for different nationalities. I worked for Scottish, Swedish, Germans, even some Russian people, and I worked for different families, different times of the year. Like in Minnesota, there was harvest. There's a time they'd hire you for harvest, and then sometimes it was maybe they're going to have a baby in the family, and they hired you. And then different jobs like that, but I also had to cook and keep house for people.
So how much did you get paid at your job?
50 cents a day.
50 cents a
From
day.
5 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, you got 50 cents a day.
5 a.m. to 9
This was
p.m.
in people's homes.
And
I
minimum
think
wage today is like $5.85 an hour.
Yes.
It would take you 11 days, 12 days to even get $5.85
Yes,
50
it's
cents
hard.
a day.
And I had to buy my own clothes when I got away from home. I didn't have no more way to get money. But you could buy a pair of shoes and it'd last you a year. And a pair of shoes was only $1.98 for a real good pair of shoes. Then they wore lace-up shoes.
Like he buys a $150 pair of Jordans now. $1.98. Can you imagine Jordans costing
And if you want a
$1.98?
real good winter coat, it was probably $5.98.
$6 for a coat.
Yeah.
What
That's
about
a long coat? That isn't like these, it's a long coat.
what about like movies and other things? How much would it cost to go to a movie?
I never got to go to a movie till I was 16 years old, and it cost 10 cents to go to a movie.
What about like going out to a restaurant or something? Did you ever?
Never till I was past 16 did I ever got to go to a restaurant.
And how much would a meal cost?
Oh, from $1 to probably $2, $3.
Yeah, it had to be if you're only getting paid 50 cents a day.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions before I go on? You feel free to ask your own questions. Just be real loud so we get you on tape. Go ahead, Don.
Now, I don't hear very good, so in case you have to repeat what you say.
Okay. So later on in life, like when you got older, did they start becoming like making like cars and stuff?
Yeah, I never saw a car till I was probably 11 years old.
When did you get your first driver's license?
When I was 29 years old.
Is that what you were going to ask? Go
Um,
ahead.
and were gas prices real cheap?
Yeah. I don't even remember, but I think maybe from 26 cents a gallon on up or something like that. I don't know.
Like $1.60 now? Steven,
How old did you have to be to get a driver's license?
how old did you have to be to get a driver's license?
Oh, 18.
Frank,
Did you ever eat head cheese?
tell us what head cheese is. We were talking about that last week.
Oh, head cheese? You grind the pork meat, you grind it with a grinder, and then you add little sugar and some curds and raisins, or you grind them all up, and then you cook that for quite a while, and then you pack it in we used to pack it in little crocks. After you cook it, we made sandwiches with it. That's what we carried in our lunch to school.
Kim's like, cafeteria food sounds pretty good now.
We had little syrup pails that we carried our lunch to school in, little syrup pails. You used to get milk, your syrup used to come in 1/2 gallon and gallon little cans with a little handle, and that's what we carried our lunch in to school.
Did you always have to take a lunch to school? They didn't have cafeteria?
Never.
When you got married, how old were you?
18.
So, what, 4 years after you finished school, you got married?
I worked out for 4 years, and then I was working on a place in Montana there that they had it was on a farm, and they had 4 children expecting a baby, and they boarded the school teacher, so they hired me to work there from September till May for 50 cents a day.
And what was your wedding like?
Oh, we didn't have no money. It only cost $2 to get married, so we got married, and we got on our saddle horses and rode 15 miles to a preacher's place to get married.
So you didn't have like a car for a
No, we
honeymoon?
didn't have a car. We just rode our saddle horses.
How old were you when you had your first child?
I was 18.
18, you had a baby right
I
away?
had a premature baby born on a ranch. Just my mother-in-law lied there. No hospital or nothing.
So you didn't get to go to the hospital for a baby?
No, It's just her and I were there all alone on the ranch.
No doctors, no
The
nurses?
men were all gone working on the sawmill.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4 boys.
And how old were they, or when were they born?
Raymond was born in 1932. That was the first one. He was the premature baby. And then I had his dad was next in 1938. And then I had another boy in 1945, and then another boy 7 years later than that.
So how old were all these kids when you came to New Mexico then?
Raymond was 16, and his dad was 8 or 9. I can't remember 9, I think. And then Larry was going to have his second birthday here. He had his first birthday, second birthday here.
What did you enjoy most about being a parent?
Parent?
Yeah.
Oh, just trying to make my kids be good kids.
When you came to Berlin, what was Berlin like? Was it a big town, or?
There was hardly any cars. There was just a few Model Ts and a few railroad cars, but mostly all was just, you'd see people coming to town with wagons and sometimes buggies.
Did they have streets?
No, the streets was all not paved
So it was just dirt roads in Berlin?
on weekend.
Was there any houses over here on this side of the river?
No,
No houses?
no.
What about a bridge? Did they have a river bridge?
Yeah, there was a river bridge.
Was it wooden or?
I don't remember that. We crossed it when we come in from Albuquerque when we moved here, but I don't remember what the bridge was like. But I think it washed out, didn't it, once or something? I think it did.
I'm sure that this was
Yeah, I think that
a newer
bridge
bridge.
washed out one time from the river, but
Stephen,
Did they have any schools whenever you moved to Glen?
what schools were here?
huh?
What
Here?
schools were
Oh,
here?
they had the old red brick school where they went to the 1st to the 8th grade.
The red brick school was across from the
I
junior high
don't
gym.
remember if that was high school too or not. I think it was.
I don't know.
I don't remember that, but I know yes, because Raymond that's where Raymond went to high school. Red brick school.
What elementary schools did they have?
Well, that was it. We only had that one big red brick school.
One school in all of Berlin? When you came?
Yeah, when we came here. It hasn't been here for many, many
Well, now
years.
there's 5 elementaries.
Yeah,
Well, there's 5 6th grade elementaries, and there's Jaramillo for the little kids, and then the middle school and high school. So
Yeah,
there's
there's
8 schools. And then you have St. Mary's, you have La Mesa. Donald,
Did they have open campus back then?
did the kids have to stay at school, or could they leave school to go eat or something?
they had cafeteria there at that, but no, they didn't either, not in the old red brick school. I don't remember. My boys came home to dinner.
So they got to leave?
Yeah, they'd come home and then they'd have to run their legs off just as hard as they could run to get back so they wouldn't miss any school. I remember Raymond walking, just running just as hard as he could go, coming home and running.
Kim?
Were there any cars?
Yeah, tell me what she said, because I don't hear very good. She asked a question, but
Kim, what's the question?
Were there any cars when she said how they had to run?
Did
What?
the students drive to school? Did they have cars?
no. I think some of them rode saddle horses, if I remember right.
You want to
See,
ride a
they
horse
had-
to school?
They had country schools. There was Club-Betos and her Alice had schools. Those kids that were out in the country, they didn't come to town to school. Just high school and the people that lived in town went to the old.
Courtney.
Do you like living in New Mexico?
What do you like about New Mexico?
The climate,
A lot warmer than Montana?
yes.
How cold did it get when you were a little girl growing up?
Well, when we lived in Minnesota, it would get about up to 40 below. Lots of snow, not that deep all the time in the wintertime. And then in North Dakota, it was worse. When I lived in North Dakota, it was really worse.
And you had to walk to school? Whoa.
I walked from 2 miles to some schools, one to the school in North Dakota, we had to walk 4 miles to school.
Charmaine?
How old did you have to be just to go to work?
How old did you have to be to get to work?
To work at somebody's place you're talking about? Well, I stayed at the places where I go to work, I lived right with them. And that would be out in the country or sometimes in the town.
How old were you when you were doing that? How old were you when you were doing that?
14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
So you got a full-time job when you were 14 then?
Yes, 14. Worked on farms, and I worked for a lot of different families. I worked for Scottish people, and I worked for Norwegian people, and Swedish, and even one Russian family.
Here in New Mexico, what was the price of things when you moved here, like to go get groceries? What did things cost? Or?
Well, I don't really can't remember, but I know there ain't nothing like it is now. Because well, in fact, where we lived here, when we raised chickens and animals, and we raised our own meat and stuff, and potatoes, and we'd grow gardens, and so we didn't have to buy a whole lot of groceries, only like sugar and stuff like that.
How about like a TV or a radio? How much
No,
were things like?
we never had a radio until in 1933 or 34, somewhere along in there. Big old long radio, funny old thing, and it was screeching spot. You had to shut it off when the lightning came where it popped. It was ran with a battery.
About how old were you when you had your first TV?
Well, we got it after we lived here, in the 40s.
So you would be like about 36?
Well, we got it when we lived at the dairy, when we had the dairy. That's when after we had the dairy a while, it was quite a while there before we got our TV.
Joaquin,
Was $100 like a lot from?
was $100 like a lot of money?
Sure was. We never knew what $100 was till we got into the dairy business, really.
Like how much, when you bought a car, how much would a car cost?
About $700. A real brand new car would be $700.
Brand new car for $700.
We have to work for that.
Oh my gosh, to get a brand new car now is like $20,000.
I know.
You could get a little car for like
Very
maybe
few
10 or
people ever
12.
had money to buy a new one. They always had to buy a second-hand one.
Steven,
Oh, how old were you when they built the first elementary school?
Casey was
how old were you when they built elementary school?
here in Glen.
Yeah.
Elementary, some of them schools were here when we came here, the Pug
Was
Eagles.
was Central here? The Central School?
No, all the school they had in Glen when we came here was what they called the Big Red Building. You ever see pictures of it or hear of it?
It's torn down now.
It's been gone for quite a long time. It was a big school.
Across the street from the middle school gym, between the middle school, like across the street from the bus compound actually.
Where that field is?
It was that,
Where
the
the
Red Brick School
field
was
for
where-
football and
Yeah.
track, there was a swimming pool there.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
There was a swimming
When
pool
we
there.
came here, the Red Brick School was where IGA.
But the other side of the junior high gym. Not the side, but the front.
Oh.
Another school there.
Whoa.
It was just one big building, it wasn't like,
But the country kids, see, they went to
it was like a
Rallis
three-story school.
and Pavitos to school. Cool.
And when you were in school, you said you had one teacher that was real mean, you said, when you were in 8th grade.
8th grade.
How was your teacher mean?
You sat down and you done your schoolwork and you didn't talk to, you weren't allowed to talk to nobody unless the teacher asked you a question. And you had to turn your papers in. You didn't have no homework. You had to turn your papers in. Like for the arithmetic class, you turned them in right there when you done them right there when you sat right there and did all your work. And we also had, for reading, we had to read out loud. Each child was asked to read a paragraph or we had to read out loud. so we learned our reading real early. You have to learn how to read real good when, by the time you was in the 4th grade. Real good. You can stand up and read, you can understand that.
What about like multiplication and like handwriting? How old were you when you got to multiply? And
Well, I think in 5th and 6th grade.
how about printing? Did you start printing right away?
We started out in all the schools I ever went to, like when Minnesota, when I started in the 1st grade. You learned printing first. When you got in the 2nd grade, you had to learn to write. Your
Cursive.
Yeah. You write everything in writing.
And your books? Did you have a reading book that had stories in it?
Yeah, you had reading books and arithmetic books and history books and we didn't have what they called science and all that stuff. We just had reading and writing and arithmetic and history. That was our main things.
Did you do, like for math, did you have to write out a bunch of problems?
We always had to do it right there and then hand our work in.
On paper or like
Yeah,
on chalk?
paper. Yeah, then we had to, but when you got it done, it was all laid on the desk and the teacher corrected it then.
Lucky.
How long do you get to finish the work?
How long did you have to do your assignment?
Well, I don't really know. Just sit there and do it just as quick as you could.
What would happen if you didn't finish in school? If somebody didn't finish their assignment?
Well, they practically all did though. You more concentrated. You really just had to just sit there and you knew you had to do it.
What about getting up to go to get water? Did you have water?
We had in all the schools I ever went to, all we had was a bucket of water with one dipper and we all drank out of that. We didn't have no faucets.
Oh, this one.
Backwash.
We had to pump the water outside with a big old pump.
And a bathroom? Do you have a bathroom in your
we had
school?
to go to an outdoor toilet.
In the winter time, I bet you that would be
Ooh,
fun.
it's cold. Guess what we used for toilet paper?
Uh-oh.
Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Ward catalog.
Did you tear the pages out for toilet paper?
That's all we had.
My grandma told me that she did that too.
Now she helps so hard.
Anybody have any other questions? Were reading all that stuff last week about cooking and head cheese.
Read out the pie.
Yeah. Your writing talked about the bear and getting the lard and
Oh, yeah.
using it for pies.
In Minnesota, where we went to school, where we lived in Minnesota, we lived by a big lake and we had a big two-story barn. And we had barns and, corrals and things like that. And when it got the first snowstorm, we had the barn, our chickens and cows and horses, everything was in a big, big barn. And we had a cow that was having a little baby calf, and the bear came and he could smell the calf, being born. He was scratching on the door, so my dad got up with the lantern and he went back and got the gun, he shot the bear, and then we butchered him.
No for bears.
Bear meat's good meat, it's just like eating pork.
I know.
Chris,
Did you guys have like a toothbrush and toothpaste?
did you have toothbrush? Toothpaste?
No, we used the wash rag. We didn't have that. That was way back when I was just a little girl, but we had them when I got up older.
Right.
Did you have your own wash rag?
No, everybody used the same wash rag. Guess what? They took a bath in a wash tub.
What?
In a wash tub?
You know what a wash tub is?
Tin?
See, none of them know. There was 3 sizes. There was small, medium, and large bathtubs. And there was all 8 of us children all had to take a bath in the same bathtub. That little
You shared all that water? So the last kid got dirty water.
It really wasn't really that dirty. We used to swim in the lake too. That's where we got our baths.
That's fun swimming in lakes. It's fun. Swimming in
Did you
lakes.
do any fishing or hunting?
Oh yeah. I didn't do any hunting, but my brothers did. They trapped animals with traps that then we put for
Cool.
them.
No 14.
Rabbits.
Oh, poor rabbit.
Those were wild rabbits. They weren't tame rabbits.
You expect, because back then.
What advice would you give to kids today? What advice would you give?
Well, it'd be quite a long list if I had to name all of it, but the main thing is just behave your parents and then do your work when you're told to do it, and when you go to school, just settle down and just learn to be a good student.
And what changes have you, what's the biggest changes that you've noticed throughout your life?
Oh, was learning to live without a salary or any money in your home. Because all the years that we ever had, there was no, I don't ever remember seeing anything where my dad carrying money in a billfold. I don't remember that. He just had silver dollars in his pocket, and then there just wasn't much money like they have nowadays.
Because you got all your own stuff.
Yeah.
You made your own food.
Yeah, we lived on farms.
Made your own clothes.
You know, so we could raise our own food. The Depression was the hardest of all. That was from 1929 to 1936. There was no money, no jobs, no nothing.
Stephen,
Have you been in any other countries?
have you gone to any other
I've
countries?
been in Canada and Alaska and Mexico.
Donald, don't think about it.
Like back then, would you guys like every time you like killed an animal, did you guys like sell the stuff from it, like the hides?
Did you, when you killed an animal, would you sell things from the animal?
Yes, my dad could butcher, and he always dried the hides, and we sold them to, there's places that they would buy them to make shoes with. You know.
Cool.
Kim,
Were you born, were you alive in the Dust Bowl?
did you remember Dust Bowls?
Yes, that's something you'll never forget. We lived on a ranch, and the clouds was coming, just rolling like this, just black in the air, and it was with such a horrible wind, it blew all the windows out of the west side of our house, and it blew the hay. We had a hay ladder. I don't know if you know what a hay ladder is, but that, you know, you put your grain and stuff in your hay when you're hauling with horses and big racks on it. But it blew that down and just tore it all to pieces. It would do that bad. And we had to go upstairs and tack quilts on our windows and wet them because the house just filled plumb full of sand. And then on top of that, we got grasshoppers came. You look up at the sky, this was after the storm went by. There was grasshoppers so bad that it was just like clouds of grasshoppers flying in the sky. And we were going to plant a garden. We were going to try to see if it would grow because there was no, we had for 4 years we didn't get any rain, hardly at all. And we was going to try to plant a garden. We raised our own tomato plants and onion plants and things, and we went out and put them out, about 100 tomato plants, and I remember how many onion plants. We all went out and planted them at night, and we went back the next morning, and the grasshoppers had eaten everything, all the tomato plants, and they even go in the ground and eat the onions. And they ate the bark off the trees.
I mean, grasshoppers.
Matt,
Like if you found a penny on the ground, was it like were you like happy that you found it?
There wasn't such a thing that I did when I was a kid growing up. There wasn't no, we never saw money at all. I don't remember seeing money till I got grown, like when I was 14 years old.
what would a penny buy? What could you get for a penny?
Oh, stamps to mail your letters and maybe a piece of candy, real hard candy.
What's a stamp cost? 36 cents now? Steven?
Whenever you killed an animal, did you use the fur to make a coat?
No, but we had neighbors that lived by us there in Montana. They made coats out of coyote furs. The
Coyote. Frank?
What'd you do with all the bones?
The dogs ate them.
Chew on the bone and go bury him? Go ahead.
What kind of dogs did you have?
Collies, shepherd dogs.
Any other last questions before we finish up? Let's talk about your papers. Do you have a question? Go ahead.
How'd you make soap?
Yes, my mother made soap.
Yeah, we talked about making soap last week. How do you make soap?
Well, you save all your lard from when it gets old, so you can't use it anymore. You take it, and we had a great big vat outdoors in the yard, great big iron vat that we put all that soap in there and put water in it, and you stand and stir it with a big stick, and pretty soon it makes. And you put lye in it, and then you stir it and stir it, and it makes soap. And you save all your matchboxes and put your soap in, put it in that and cool it, and then that's how we had soap.
So your soap was made from grease,
Grease,
pretty much.
you use grease.
Charmaine?
Huh?
How big were the matchboxes?
How big were the matchboxes?
Well, just a regular box, just like now we'd save the bottom part and we'd always put that in there, and then that's how we made our bars of soap.
That was your mold. Anybody else? First of all, on that interview sheet, the very first thing is, where and when were you born?
I was born in Culbertson, Montana, and on a homestead.
And what year was it?
February 22nd, 1914.
So how old are you now?
86 plus 5 months.
So 86 years old. On that sheet, I'm going to borrow that. I don't got it anymore. What places have you lived in besides Montana? You said you were born there, but where else have you lived?
When I was 10 months old, we moved to Minnesota. Lived there for 9 years. Then we moved to Wisconsin and lived there for 3 years. Then we moved to North Dakota and I lived there for another 3 years. Then we moved back to Montana. And then from Montana, I moved to New Mexico.
So how long have you been here in New Mexico?
Since January the 16th, 1948.
So you've lived here.
51 years.
Wow. How you moved to all those different places, from Montana to Minnesota to
Yeah.
Wisconsin, back to Montana. How come you moved so many times? Did your dad have a job or something?
My dad always worked back in like Wisconsin and Minnesota. He worked in logging camps, for logging where they made lumber. You know, all of, cut down the trees and all them to make lumber. And then when we left Wisconsin, he had enough money saved up so we could move back, because he always had said, "I'll move back." My mother wanted to live in Minnesota because that's where she was born. And he never liked Minnesota, he said, but he went back to please her. And when he got all that work done and we had no money to move, we moved back. He said, "I'll always stay here," he said, "till I get money so I can move back to the prairies," which the prairies are Montana and North Dakota country and that's for that. So we moved back to North Dakota, where I had a lot of relatives that lived, and we worked for my mother's brothers there in North Dakota. And then when we got through working with them, then we moved over back to Montana then, and lived on farms.
So your dad had jobs. What was his main job? What was the main thing that he
In
did?
the young, in his younger years?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was a logging man, so he would log, was a logging cat.
So he was like a lumberjack kind of.
Yeah, lumberjack.
What country is your family from?
Germany,
Your mom and your dad both?
yes.
And how old? Your dad came from Germany.
Yeah, he came over on the ocean when he was 9 years old.
So who came with him?
His mother and dad, and there was the 4 brothers.
And they had sisters
No.
later, or?
No, there was no sisters, only just the 4 brothers at that time. And then after they moved here, he had his
The girls were born later?
yeah, that was from a second wife.
And what happened to his mother?
She died on the ocean, coming over on the ocean. She was buried in the ocean,
They just wrapped her up and
wrapped in tarp with a rope, tied around her, and then she was just dropped over into the ocean.
Not quite
That was
like
in the
that.
1800s.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of this sounds like that story that we read.
Which one?
No.
Last week? Yeah.
It sounds a lot.
Yeah. A lot of it was in what we read. Growing up in your family, you had 6 kids when you were little?
Well, when we were, yeah, there was 6 children, and then there was two more girls born after I was married. There was 2 more girls born after I was married. So there's 8 children in the family.
So you were the second?
I was the second. I
But
had
you're
one brother older and one brother younger, and then the rest was all girls.
Because you were the oldest girl, did you have more work than the
Yeah.
others?
My mother never was very well when she, and all this, there was lots of chores to do, and things, and by the time I was 8 years old, I took the place of my mother helping raise the family. But my mother wasn't well at that time.
Or did you get a lot of house chores?
Yes, learned to do everything, make beds, bake bread, sew. I learned to sew and bake bread and work in the kitchen when I was making all the food when I was 8 years old.
So you were cooking meals for the whole family when you were
Yeah,
8?
when I was 8 years old.
And that, you didn't have a microwave?
No, we just had a big old wood stove. My brothers had to keep the wood boxes full for us. We just heated our house with wood stoves.
How old were you when you went to school?
I started school. My birthday's in February, so I started when I was 5.
For first grade or kindergarten?
They didn't have no kindergarten
And how long did you go to school?
till I was in 8th grade.
No high school?
No class.
What was your school like? Was it big? Were there a lot of classes?
It was just a big one-room school and first to the 8th grade all in one room.
So you had one teacher for all 8 grades?
Yeah.
Were the kids, if the teacher was teaching in first grade, what were all the other kids
They were
doing?
studying for their class, and then the 2nd grade started, they got their class, then we went around. Everybody was always busy studying, writing in their papers or reading in their books, and we never had no homework.
So the teacher had desks for all the students?
Yeah, there's the 1st grade sat, then the 2nd grade, then the 3rd grade, then the 4th, and 6th, like that.
So did the first grade kids get called up to go with the teacher? And all the other kids had to work at their desk?
Yes?
Yeah, because you would like call first graders, let's come do your reading or something.
Yes. The first thing I started school in Minnesota, the first thing we did when we got to school, we all stood and sang God Bless America. The next thing we did, well, first was roll call. The teacher would say, and when she'd say your name, he said yes, that she was there at school. And that way she knew who was absent and who wasn't. Then we had to sing God Bless America. Then we had a story that the teacher read out of Aesop's Fables. She read 2 verses, or 2 chapters, and then we'd start our classes. That was the beginning of school in Minnesota. When we went there.
Did you have like, did you have to do math problems on paper?
Yeah, everything was done on paper.
Did you have reading textbooks that had stories?
No, the only thing we had was just our class work. We didn't have reading books or anything like that.
What if kids got in trouble? Did they have like detention, or did they get sent to the office?
There was no office, there was just a teacher.
So there was no principal?
When you went to school there, and you went to school to learn, you didn't go to play or be silly or anything. If you did, the only thing they treated you, if you did something wrong, you had to stand in the corner with your back to the class with a dunce cap on. And that was very embarrassing.
What's that?
What's a dunce cap? I don't think everybody knows.
Nobody know what a dunce cap is? You ever seen it? Do you know what a dunce cap is?
Yeah, it's like a sharp, like a pointy hat.
Yeah.
You're standing there.
Yeah, it's a hat, and you sit on your head, and it's got a big point way up here, and you just have to stand there with your hands down tied behind, or like stand, hold your hands behind your back, and you had to stand up there for 10 minutes. It was very, I only had one brother that had to do that, because he pulled a girl's braids.
What was the worst punishment? What else did they
Other
do?
than that, if you never were allowed to talk out loud in school, or like you just sitting here, you don't dare say anything to each other. We had, if you was asked, if the only way we could talk out loud is if the teacher asked us a question and we had to answer it.
But how would they punish a kid? What was the worst?
If they were unruly at all in any kind, or like, you know, kids used to throw spit wads, or they used to whisper, that like, of course they didn't sit like you kids are doing, they're just big long rows like this, and there was just a desk in between each child. And if you whispered to somebody or handed them a note, you know, you were corrected, because the teacher had her hand on you all the time. She made you lay your hand on the table, and she had a real thick board, like a ruler, only thicker, and she whacked your hand right here. And you wasn't allowed to cry, you was just allowed to sit there and take it.
That's worse than signing the black book.
Oh, yes.
You got whacked with a ruler in here, you probably couldn't even sign the black book, you'd be in pain. Mike,
Have you been hit like that? Or did you?
did you ever get hit like that?
No, boy, you wouldn't want to have your hand hit like that, no, that hurt.
Does it leave marks?
Yeah.
I thought
Go
they
ahead,
didn't have
Nicole.
to. Did you like ever get in trouble for going to clubs and stuff?
Go ahead, Doug.
Did you ever how many people got in trouble in your classroom?
Can you answer?
How many people got in trouble?
Well, not very many, mostly it was always unruly boys.
Did you have any sports?
Did you have sports in school?
Well, the only one we played out at recess time, we maybe sometimes had games like some kids played marbles, the boys played marbles, or the girls probably just talked and played. We didn't have games like that, only at recess time.
Aracasio.
Did you guys have swings and stuff like we do?
You have swings, playground equipment?
Yes, we had swings, and in Minnesota where we lived, we had what we called the chinny chin chin, we call it. They take two trees and put a board like this, and you put your hands up here, they'd help you, and you had to raise up here, and you had to get your chin on it. You got a award for that. If you could get your chin over that board. That was called chinny chin chin game. And then in the wintertime, we played fox and geese. Did you ever play that?
I have.
Oh, that's fun.
Go ahead.
What's fox and geese?
You make a big ring in the snow, and you all stand around in a ring. And one is a fox and one is a geese, and of course the fox is chasing the geese. And when one certain word say, when they said the word geese, you had to go catch one. They'd say somebody that one, he'd get it the word. He'd have to go chase the geese in the ring, and then he'd go back, and then we called it. We played that game. That was just a game we played.
It's like duck goose, like duck goose.
Fox and geese.
Frankie.
You can also play that with checkers.
Yeah, they play. There's a checker game like that too, where you get like 4 checkers and you get
No.
1 checker.
No.
But this is like Duck, duck, goose, kind of. You run around it,
Yeah,
around the circle.
The kids all lined up in a ring like this, and
Yeah.
there was something, there's no saying, and when the one that said geese, he had to go in the middle and the fox chased him.
Make him.
If you could change one thing about your life, what would it be?
Not much of anything, I've had a pretty good life. It's all a lot of hard work, but then I like it.
Corey.
Where were your ancestors from?
Germany. My cousins and most of them were from Minnesota. My aunts and uncles they lived in, there was 14 children in my mother's and dad's family, and they all settled in Minnesota. And that's where I settled most of my relatives.
Travis.
What were your school friends like?
Just like you kids are, just have your own new friends. Just same as you do.
Did any friends come over to your house to play or anything, spend the night?
Not very much, because we lived out in the country. We didn't ever live in a town. We always was way out in the country where we'd be miles and miles apart a lot of times from where people lived, you know.
How many pairs of clothes did you have?
How much clothes did you have?
Not very many. You wore the same dress to school all week and the same, and I never wore, in the summer, I never had shoes till I was 12 years old. I had to wear boys' shoes to school. I never had girl shoes till I was 12 years old.
And did you make your own clothes or did you get to buy
Yeah,
them?
we mostly made our own clothes. My mother taught me how to sew when I was 8 years old. We made all our own clothes.
Christine.
Did you ever wear pants? Like
Huh?
jeans?
No, never wore jeans till I was probably 14 years old.
So you had to
We
wear,
didn't wear jeans, we wore big overalls.
what did you wear to go to school when it was winter?
Wore real warm stockings, long-handled underwear, and we wore dresses to school, but long coats. The coats didn't lay down long enough. And a lot of mittens, and we had mufflers, it's called mufflers. My mother she knit our stockings and our mufflers, and you had to wear that, because it was so cold, you wore it like this tight around your neck, and you wore a stocking cap. Real warm clothes, because it was cold. when I
How
was-
cold did it get?
About 40 below. And then snow about that deep, and I walked to school.
Corey.
What is the best piece of advice you can give?
Just mind your parents and your teachers.
Especially the teacher part. Tara,
What jobs have you had?
what jobs have you had?
Oh,
Have you had any jobs?
just working at home, and then when I was 14, I worked away from home for 4 years.
How much did you get paid?
50 cents a day. 5 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night.
Ah.
Well, that was a lot for back then.
Mike,
How was it like walking from your house to school?
Well, you just got up and dressed warm, and in the winter time, in the summertime it was okay, but just walk to school.
How far did you have to walk?
In Minnesota, we walked 2 miles to school. In North Dakota, I walked 4 miles to school.
Mitchell,
What was your favorite subject in school?
Spelling.
Christine?
Was everything like really cheap back then? Like you
Yes.
could get like a Coke for like a penny or something?
No, we never had candy till I was about 12 years old.
But like, was it like really cheap? Like
We didn't get to
recess?
go, we never went to a store. I never got to go to stores. I didn't have any money.
How old were you when, like, you started going to stores regularly? When you wouldn't have to, like, make everything at home?
After I graduated, probably in 7th and 8th grade, maybe we got to go to a store once in a while.
But you didn't have, like, a big store, like a
No,
grocery
no, they were
store?
just little small grocery stores.
Go ahead. Brittany.
Have you been married?
Hmm?
Have you been married?
How long have I been married?
Have you been married?
Oh, huh?
Have you been married?
Yeah. I've been married many, many, many years.
Have you had a 25th anniversary?
Huh?
Have you had a 50th anniversary? Yeah.
How long have you been married? How
I
long
was
were you
married
married?
40 years the first time. 40 years. Then my husband died, and I married another man, and I was married 10 years, then I divorced, and so I've been a lady by myself all this time since.
Corey,
Okay. How old were you when you left home?
I didn't leave home. I had to leave home. I had to go to work when I was 14 years old.
you didn't get to go to high school, you had to go to work?
No, I didn't get to go to high school.
So just imagine 3 years, like you're 11 now, having to leave to go work full time.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's a little harder than what you would do today. Yes, ma'am. Or Nicole.
What have you enjoyed about being a parent?
But being a parent,
Yeah, what have you enjoyed about that?
just raising my family, and they've all worked. My boys all turned out to be good workers, and we taught them to be good workers, and they none of them ever got into any kind of trouble.
Sam?
Have you ever gone to college?
No, didn't even get to go to high school.
Jesse?
In your free time, what kind of things did you do for fun
Was that in those years or now?
in those years?
In those years? Well, in the summertime, we lived on farms. We was way always out in the country. Well, if there was a big picnic somewhere, maybe in a town or somewhere, we would go and do run ball, run games like they'd have the sack races, and we never had no fun like the kids have nowadays. We didn't get to go to anything like they get to go to now.
Did you have free time at home after you did chores?
There was no such thing as free time. You just worked all day and night, and you just went to bed about 10 o'clock every night. Got up 5 o'clock the next morning because you had to get up and make breakfast.
Travis?
What type of backpacks did you have back then?
We didn't have no such thing as, we never brought home any homework. We didn't have to have backpacks. There was no such a thing as a backpack.
Go ahead, Frank.
How many days a week did you go to school?
How many what?
How many days a week did you go to
Oh,
school?
from Monday to Friday.
How many hours?
Well, we went the school started at 9 and it was ended at 4.
So you had 7 hours. How long did it take you to get to school?
Well, it depended on how far you had to walk. When we walked the 4 miles, we left home before 7 o'clock in the morning.
So it would take 2 hours to get to
Yeah.
school.
Oh,
That's a long trip.
that's harsh.
Sam?
What kind of house did you have?
We lived in log houses, on our big log houses, 2-story log houses.
Mitchell?
Did your kids go to the same school as you?
What?
Did your kids go to the same school as you?
No. No.
That's cool. It's probably
They pretty much went here.
I went to school in Montana, North Dakota, and Montana. Minnesota first.
How old were your kids when you came to New Mexico?
My oldest boy was 16, and then his dad was 9, and then there was, then I had, Larry my other boy, Larry had his second birthday here in 1948. And Danny, my son Danny was born here in New Mexico.
So they were all here going to school pretty much.
They all went to school here, and the rest of them. Raymond graduated from high school the first year we were here.
Tara?
Did you sleep on beds?
Yeah.
Is there like
Us girls, there's, when we were little, there was 4 of us girls all slept in the same bed.
Did you have, what was your mattress?
Feather ticks.
Feather?
Feather ticks. Don't know what feather ticks are, I was always. My mother raised lots of geese, and then when we plucked geese and the chickens, we always saved all the feathers, and we made feather sticks, and we made pillows out of them.
Atacasio.
Like, when did you guys finally get like running water and stuff like that?
Did you get indoor plumbing?
No, we pumped water with an old pump, and had a bucket, carried our water in with buckets, and that's
How old were you the first time you had indoor plumbing?
at indoor plumbing in New Mexico.
So that's how you moved here?
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved here?
How old was I when I moved here?
Yeah.
30 or 40, about 40. I don't know. Somewhere in there. I don't remember just for sure.
Travis.
What did New Mexico look like back in the old days?
But there was no, there were just gravel roads or just dirt roads. There was very few cars, and mostly everybody drove horses with wagons and buggies and things like that. Not very many cars.
Was there any houses over here across the river?
No,
No real communities?
no, there was nothing across the river on this side. We didn't get-
Christine?
Okay. What kind of bathrooms did you have?
We didn't.
Houses.
We took our bath in a wash tub.
No, bathrooms. Like,
No, we didn't have bathrooms.
like,
What did you use for bathroom?
yeah, like to go to the bathroom or something.
Oh, you had to go to an outdoor toilet.
Did it like flush or did you have to?
No, no.
It dropped.
It was a little building, and then it had a board like this with a hole in it, and that's what you sat on, and it went in the ground. I do that.
And what was it like in the wintertime?
It's just kind of cold. Just hurry, run, and get back into as quick as you could.
You don't want to get up and have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Atacasio.
Like, you know, like when you were a little girl, did you guys have cars?
No.
You guys
I
had
never
cars?
saw a car until I was about 9 years old, and then you just maybe there was only somebody driving through it, but nobody owned the car. Just somebody coming maybe driving through or something.
How old were you when you first got to drive?
I was 29.
Tara?
Is it true you have to use under things with gunny sacks?
In your writing, it said that you used flour sacks.
Yeah, flour sacks, and sugar sacks. We used to get sugar in 25-pound sacks. We got our salt in a 15-pound sack. It was always cloth sacks. And we saved all the flour came in 100-pound sacks. We made all our clothes out of, and our sheets, our pillowcases, towels, everything came out of flour sacks.
They're like canvas.
No, they're just like the ones you get nowadays, the little flour sacks. But then, now that they have flour comes in paper sacks. Now, we had 100-pound sacks.